do it. Come on, do it. You keep going. Whatever you're doing, do it. And what that does is help me deal with failures a lot, because it makes me feel that, okay, this is that failure which led to the success that I'm going to get next time. So, and also, looking at my life as, a story, it makes me feel that, okay, if I want to get here in this many years, then I'm going to have to do this. Things mature in a slow process, and the more they mature in a slow process, it makes them more solid, with a strong foundation, and you have, they're more unique. It's like a tree that grows slowly, like an oak tree. It's more solid, and when you cut it, you see the rings. They're beautiful. If it grows fast, it can almost be like a monstrosity because it's going everywhere. But the strong things, they go slowly, and enjoy the process, and know that, quality things take time.
Amos, Madra.
Dr. Daniel, should I say, and Dr. Raphael Olaiya, a warm welcome to both of you. Great to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. So, to start with, Dr. Daniel, can I call you Daniel?
Call me Daniel, call me D, Danny, call me anything you want to call me.
Dan the man. Well, hello to you. Thank you so much for joining us. You've just reading on your stories and the things that you guys do. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible, especially through the pandemic. You guys have been at the forefront. You are the superheroes. You are our modern day Marvel superheroes. Dr. Daniel, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that very warm welcome. I really appreciate that. Far too kind, far too kind. Okay, so let's get straight into it. So on a day-to-day, I work in anesthetics and critical care and the emergency department. So that's what I do, and that's what makes me. I'm a doctor. I work on the front line. So that's in theatre, with normal elective surgery, which is planned, and of course emergency surgery, and of course dealing with the critical patients who need to be taken to the intensive care. That's what I do on a day-to-day basis. And of course, what I have been doing over the last sort of 10 years is I've also been working in STEM, so education and younger people, technology, engineering, medicine. Obviously, medicine is my kettle of fish, is our kettle of fish. So I'm always engaging in educational activities and inspiring and teaching the younger generation, in fun ways, be that on social media or in person. And another part of my medical job is transporting critically ill patients around the world, often in planes, could be in ambulances, but it often takes place in aeroplanes, small jets or propeller planes or commercial planes. And that's a more exciting area of my job, and I really enjoy that. And that's what I do. And more recently, the exciting part is, of course, doing some exciting things on TV, which I'm sure we will get into.
Indeed, you've been a busy man on TV. I've seen you pretty much everywhere. So we'll certainly get into that. And also, just it seems that you're literally all over social media as well. We'll talk about that again very shortly. Dr. Raphael, great to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us as well. And for people who are just listening to this and might not be watching it, they might not have spotted the fact that you're not only brothers but you're twins. Tell us about yourself and your story.
Thank you very much for the warm welcome and the introduction. So I am fundamentally a doctor of general practice. I'm a general practice trainee. I spend half my time doing that, and I spend the other half of my time mainly doing what I would call health data science. So that is a mixture of machine learning engineering for healthcare and focusing on technology and innovation for the progression of healthcare. And that could be in the form of using data as best we can to predict outcomes and help people make decisions about their health and have more control. Because at the minute we're seeing a big revolution in healthcare where people are getting more control over their health and their well-being. And on top of that, more recently, it's the media aspect, which we're going to be talking about a little bit later: children's TV, well-being, education, and fun and dancing.
And behind a lot of that is how important well-being and fitness is to myself and to us as twins. And you know, I'm a personal trainer, and that really shows itself in the health data science work that I do and in the media work that we do as well. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, Raphael, I mean, both of you, you're not your typical doctors. You guys, you're the kind of guy that I would definitely want to be going out on a night with and chilling and, having a good time. And then the next thing, you're probably reading my pulse and telling me, some advice. But, you guys are incredible. And I think you're a great inspiration for so many people who want to go into this career. I think a lot of young people, because I suppose, there's this narrative that if you're going to go into medicine, you can't be hip, you can't be cool, you've got to, toe the line, you've got to have a certain, I don't know, character trait. I mean, not to say that, there's anything wrong with, say, urban culture, but you guys really make being a doctor look so cool. You take your health seriously. And you honestly, the food that I see you guys eating, it's like I want to eat a fruit, I want to eat some vegetables, I want to go for a run. Talk to us about starting out and wanting to go into this career to getting to where you are today. Raphael, let me start with you. Talk to us about that journey.
Yeah, so this is a question I thought a lot about over the years, because I'm constantly thinking, where is the place in my professional life I'm going to add the most value to other people, and what is right for me as a person. I've been trying to be as self-aware as I can, trying to think, where did I enjoy myself and apply myself most naturally. And I feel medicine, it allows you to really go into that research, logical thinking, critical thinking sort of space, if you try to, and also the application of that knowledge in the clinical settings. You can bring those two together. But bringing those two together, the academic part and the physical part of medicine, it's not done for you, because sometimes as a doctor you can be carried away in the conveyor belt just following protocol, and I think that can be quite boring. That's why I talked about the health data science. That's looking at the data, thinking what works, because we often find the more we know about something, the less black and white it is, and the more it's there's so many different, it's all a bunch of knobs. And what I mean by that is that you're twisting everything. Everything's neither here, neither there. It's in the middle. You have to think about what you want. So for me, medicine is great for that. I think the other side of what I mainly do and we mainly do is to do with well-being and energy and living your life to the full. And that has something to do with we like showbiz, entertaining, and having a lot of energy. And I think being a doctor has made us be like that, because the way you put your body on the line, whether it's through the COVID period or whether you're doing night shifts 4 days in a row, then switching on to days, your body goes through quite a lot of trauma. So you see a lot of doctors, their health being, their job being detrimental to their health, and the health system's not even helping, it's not even supporting you. So you need to figure out ways to help yourself. And healthy eating, it should taste nice, but it takes a while. It takes a while to get used to that. But when you realize that, hold on, I'm going to be a lot more effective at my job and enjoy my job a lot better and be healthier for longer. And when that really clicks and you feel the benefits of that, that's when it becomes easier. So yeah,
absolutely. There's depth to this, isn't there? And I think, as you said, it's a way of being, it's a way of life, and you certainly incorporate that in your own life. Daniel, growing up, what was it like? Did your parents encourage you to go into this? And for two siblings to go into this profession, is this something that the whole family was doing? And obviously, you've got to make sure you're always performing at high standards. I can imagine, that must have been quite intense growing up.
Really appreciate that question, and thanks for the answer, Raph. That was very, very thoughtful, actually. made me think about quite a few things. But yeah, on this question, growing up, to be absolutely honest, and to be very real, we had a lot of encouragement and a lot of pushing towards medicine from our parents. Father's a doctor, mother's a nurse. Older brother is also a doctor. Sister's a psychologist. We all work in the NHS.
Family business.
Yeah, literally, NHS is our business, indeed. So yeah, no, that's. I think that baseline was very, very important. I think moving on from there, I think becoming doctors and becoming clinicians in our own right, I think that was the starting point. I would say it was from that point is where we begin to define ourselves, and what we're doing now is a very big element of that, and you can see our personalities and our individuality in that. So for example, myself, I've chosen to go into very acute specialities, which can take me on adventures up mountains, into seas, sporting events, of course, in planes, in vehicles, even into space. And that reflects, who I am and my personality. And to look deeper into, how growing up shaped our careers, I would say, being twins is an interesting one, because of course, being twins is great. You always have someone, your friend, your friend, most of the time, your friend. But at the same time, you have a competitor. You have a competitor at the same time, and the reason I say it is because you're always compared. That could be a good thing, and it can be a very bad thing, and depends on how you take it. And I think, fortunately for us, it has collectively been a great thing because we embrace competition. We embrace, learning from others. We embrace, obviously having to pick yourself up and look what other people are doing. Think, okay, what does that mean for me? Who am I? How am I different? What is my individuality? It makes being a twin makes you ask that question, that bit extra, and helps you come to a, just puts a bit more pressure on that. I think that was definitely true for us. And of course, we had really, really supportive parents. Our parents put a lot on the line to help us get the education. We haven't been into any sort of private schooling institutions, but where our parents could, we had private teachers, and I wouldn't say I'm definitely not the brightest person, but I think the work ethic is there. The work ethic has always been there. And that's what happens within medicine, because medicine, I would say, is not very intuitive. It's just something you put the time in, you work, you study, put the hours in, and work ethic and discipline always shines through. I would answer like that.
Raphael, Daniel made a great point there. Work ethic, it's so important, and absolutely, you need that work ethic. But obviously the studying is what's got you guys to where you are. For a lot of young people watching and thinking, you say that, but you grew up in a household of doctors. I'm not in that sort of environment. I live in a more of a broken home. What would you say to a young person who's watching, looking at this and thinking, I'd love to do what you're doing, but circumstances make it a bit more difficult for me?
Definitely. I think that's a really, really great question. I thank you for that, because I've thought about that question a lot when people, sort of compare their situation to me, and I try and help people. And how I'd answer it is that, first of all, the world in itself that we live in it's not set up to be fair like that. And if you want the most out of your life, you shouldn't be looking to try and compare yourself, your starting point, to everyone else. And also, everyone's got their pros and their cons and the individuality that gives them their strength. And that individuality is someone's biggest strength, the way in which their skill set, their personality comes together. And that mix match of it coming together like a cake or a mixing pot is your strength, So being the authentic you and optimizing your strengths is where you will find your place. And also thinking about what comes naturally to you, what comes most naturally to you. What do you enjoy? What can you do that doesn't feel like that doesn't feel like work. And enjoying the journey really, trying to delve into the process that you're in, or the training process, or the job that you're in, and trying to enjoy it, because in the process of trying to enjoy something, you will enjoy it more. So it's really sort of a conscious thing, and you'll find some people finding something really difficult, and the exact same thing, other people find it really enjoyable. And I think part of that gap is wanting to enjoy it. So yeah, I'd say that.
No, enjoying it, absolutely. You know, I think, was it Warren Buffett?
Can I add to that?
Yeah, sorry.
I'd like to add to that. You know, really thought-provoking question. You know, we have got parents who are in the medical field, and I think that's one of the biggest factors in success in achieving getting into medicine and becoming a doctor. You know, that's a fact. And in anything, if your father's a football player for the Premiership, you're going to have a higher chance of doing it. If you know, that's the way life is. And Raph, you know, rightly said, you know, this idea of, you know, the world isn't fair and some people have unfair advantages. But to answer your question, what can people do if they're from a different background? Particularly, you know, I think medicine is a great example. And I would say today is a very, very different time to 10 years ago or even 20 years ago. And now the playing field is leveling. It's leveling. It's not quite level, but it's leveling, particularly in this country, in the UK. You know, comparing this country to many other places. Let's talk about the US. Let's talk about other European countries. You know, let's talk about, you know, race differences. Let's talk about, you know, gender differences. I would say in the UK, it's not perfect, but we're getting there. And I would say unique thing that we have right now is the internet and social media. You can reach out to anybody. You can reach out to anybody, and people are more willing than ever to help you. And everything's available on the internet. You can learn. Okay, you can't learn to be a doctor on YouTube, but you can learn a lot on YouTube. You can learn a heck of a lot on YouTube. I spent a lot of my time on YouTube learning medical things, you know, and having that practical experience. And all I mean to say is that there's a lot of advice that you can get online, and if you apply yourself, you will get it. And of course, there's discipline to that, and there's work ethic to that. There's trying, and just continuing that hustle. But it's accepting, like Raf said, you know, everyone starts at different points, and you need to accept that.
And that's a great point that both of you made there. You know, Raphael, you're talking about, you know, having a passion. I think it was Warren Buffett who said, you know, find something that you enjoy doing and you'll never work another day in your life. And, you know, Daniel, you really added to that nicely. You know, it's even playing field, even though it's not as even as we would like, but it's much better than what it was years past. And of course, if you apply yourself, and then the opportunities will come. And again, it's been intentional, and it's going out there and finding the right resources, asking the right questions, and connecting with the right people. It's great advice there. Thank you kindly for that. I'm sure we'll come back to this point in our interview here today. I just want to talk to you now about the job of being a doctor. You guys see a lot. You know, there's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of things that, you know, you deal with, and for your own mental state, is trying to be, you know, the same every day and trying to keep emotions out of it. How do you cope with some of the things that you have to come across? I mean, Daniel, let me start with you. You know, when you go with some of these air accidents or some of these situations where you have to fly out to.
So in aeromedical retrieval and transfer, it's a unique situation because you're being brought to take someone normally back home, or to a place where they can get better care. And normally that's when they're stable. So the reason that you know, those finances are being invested in actually a very expensive thing, which is having a doctor and a nurse on a plane doing that, is because, you know, there's a chance of, you know, getting that patient better, better. So that's quite positive and quite uplifting, quite energetic situation to be in. I would like to compare that to being on the intensive care unit, whereby someone's just had an insult, a medical problem, let's say a bleed on the brain, a brain hemorrhage, a stroke, someone's had a car accident, someone's had, one of their limbs amputated. This is where I am mostly. The stuff in airplanes, I do that, but where I am daily is the intensive care unit. That's what I see every day. And for me, it really does remind me of my humanity and mortality and what these things mean to me. And it is hard, it is harsh. And I do remind myself, this is unnatural to see so much pain and so much sorrow, all the time, talking with the families, explaining the when the situation looks bleak, but at the same time, giving them facts, it's not healthy. I truly believe it's not healthy for humans to be doing that in such frequency. So how I handle it is, fortunately I have a great support network, a family, and I'm fortunate in that I'm able to switch off when I leave work. I don't really often talk about the trauma that I see at work unless unless I'm making a point of having that discussion. That's not to say you shouldn't, or there's not lots to learn there, but I don't do it all the time. I don't take work home with me, and I have a lot to look forward to at home. A lot of projects that I'm doing at home, which means that I can switch off and look forward to that. So I keep work very much at work, even though I am very passionate about it, and there is a lot that goes on. But I think it's very important to say that being in a hospital, working in those environments, look after yourself.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It was perfectly put there. Raf, when I'm thinking about your situation, perhaps it's a little bit different in the sense that you might build a relationship with your patients, you get to know them, get to know their backstory, and something might happen. How do you separate the two?
Yeah, with the populations that I deal with, there is a lot of pain, death, and problems that can't be fixed. Also, in my general practice work, I do a lot of emergency medicine work as well, which are similar patients to the patients Daniel sees in critical care. So how do I deal with it? I think reflecting on it and journaling and being self-aware of how I feel about the situation and my deep-seated thoughts and trying to understand the truth and my thoughts, that helps because it makes me feel a lot more grateful, because I think to myself, okay, if these people are going through this problem, which is not their fault at all in any way, of course, there's a whole spectrum of problems and the reason why the problems happened. But reflecting on them broadly, it makes me think, hold on, this gift that we have of life right now is fleeting, and we need to make the most of it. Not just that, the pain that everyone has in their lives, everyone, regardless of their situation, rich, middle class, poor, everyone, regardless of where they are around the world, I think there's a sort of beauty in their, in sometimes pain, and accepting it, reflecting on it, and using it to make you stronger. And reflecting on that beauty and seeing it like that can be a gift sometimes, because although you can feel sometimes sad or down, in the end, you always come back to your level playing field, because that's just how life is, and try and make the most of it. I think that's how I do it. And I think meditation and your own spiritual faith and seeing the cup half full all the time and seeing the future as bright, and that really ties into it as well.
And that's it. And that's part of the ethos as a doctor as well, isn't it? That positivity, trying to look for the good in the bad, and obviously trying to help your patients, but ultimately yourself. When you're talking there, Raphael, about your, self-awareness and just, reflection as well on being grateful for what you've got, and again, awareness of your own mortality, so that that every day is vital and we should make the most out of it. It's so wonderful to hear that, because again, it's just that reminder that we shouldn't waste any time that we've got. Each day is precious. Where does that understanding come from? Is this something that you've always been raised up with, or is this something that as a result of your profession has come more to the forefront?
Yeah. So is that to me?
That's to you, sorry, Raphael. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's two reasons for that. So our upbringing, we're brought up as Christian, and we are Christians. We believe in God, Jesus, and not just that. And being doctors as well allows you to see these things in a bit more of a full frontal way, and you're in the decision-making process. So what you say and what you think and your rationale affects the direct situation. So you need to be able to look yourself in the mirror when you go home in the morning and be like, I made the decision that makes sense to the fundamentals. And then you can move on, and then you can be happy with yourself. So yeah, I'd say that's where it comes from. And another point that I think ties into some of the other questions in this interview is that I think we always need to make decisions for ourselves. And what I mean by that is that there's lots of advice and dogma when it comes to decisions and what we should do. But if you trust your thought processes and what your gut says and why it says that, and be aware of that, then you can be happy with your decision, even if it's different from what other people say, what other people advise you. Of course, listen to advice and take it on, understand where it's coming from, but make your decision.
Yeah, absolutely. Trust your instincts, and it will never let you down. Daniel, did you trust your instincts and decide that TV is the way for you, whether it's the way forward?
So, funnily enough, myself and Raph have actually been involved in TV and media for the last, I would say 20 years, actually, 20 years. And I think that's a huge point there, because of course, we're getting our big break now, it would seem. We've actually been working behind the scenes ever since, we were, small, 10 years old. We've been doing a lot of stuff. Why? It goes back to what Raph said before, because we enjoyed it. We didn't see it as work, and we're, honing that craft and honing that technical ability of able to communicate the message on camera and to, convey, such energy. So yeah, no, we've been doing bits for a while. But your question, remind me of your question again, sorry.
No, it's that self-awareness, that understanding and knowing who you are. And you answered it perfectly, because as you said, for 20 years, it's again, the TV relates to the point I was making earlier on. You are self-aware, you do know who you are, you understand your calling, and, your faith has played a big part in where you are today. And part of that journey has been, again, sharing your message and speaking to people beyond your physical presence. And that's what you guys have been doing with TV, social media, and all the different things. And it'll be great just to know a bit more about where that came from and where it's going in the future.
So where it came from, I think we ran into serendipitous opportunities as children, as young guys, in school. There was a public speaking competition where we had to have a team of 3. I was one of the speakers, Raph was one of the speakers, and we had someone else join us. That helped us hone our skills. We said, okay, we're pretty good at this. Let's chase some more opportunities. I was a member of Youth Parliament. At the same time, Raph was one of the big members of the, student council at school. We managed to make a sort of dance group based on Michael Jackson, tribute dance group. One time we dressed up as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and busked on the street with a boombox. And of course, we filmed all these things all the time. So I think also, coming from a household where there's 4 of us, there's 4 children, you often find ways to entertain yourself, and we really enjoyed movies and TV, and we would often find ourselves reenacting stuff. So with the advent of social media, it was very natural for us to start filming and doing things. I remember there was one time we just got a webcam, when everyone was using webcam on MSN and all those things, and we made a little film, a little boxing film.
What year was it?
That must have been 2006, maybe.
I think it was 2003.
Yeah, I think it was 2003. So we're always playing with these things because we found it fun. And there was one time, we need to find this video, whereby we were doing a lip sync. Right? And this lip sync was to Boyz II Men, I'll Make Love to You. and it was the most hilarious video whereby we started arguing in the middle of the lip sync, and it just hilarious because obviously we were lip sync at the same time. It didn't work out right. We watched the back and we thought, that is funny. that is really funny.
It went viral. It went viral, and this was back in the day when, you know, social media wasn't what it is today. It was just something where you go and see YouTube videos when you're bored, and that got about 10,000, 20,000 views, and we just kind of took it as it was and moved on.
Wow, incredible! But you know, you guys are popular. You know, you've got a substantial following on social media. Of course, you know, you're on TV, and you know, it's you can see how it's all come back full circle. It's as though this is something that you've always been destined to do. I'm conscious of the time. I don't want to take you guys out of your busy schedule, but just to sum up, you know, there'll be, again, young people watching this, and they'll just be looking for some sort of encouragement, some words. Raphael, you know, what would you say to a young person watching who looks at you and thinks, I would love to do what you're doing? What would you say to them?
I'd say, first of all, try and be self-aware and reflect and journal and think about your journey through life, what you enjoy, what you perhaps don't like, the skills that you should be gaining, and try to enjoy the process. So self-awareness and enjoying the process, and understanding that your unique journey is what makes you special. So don't try and think about other people. Think about you and your journey. And second of all, I'd say things mature in a slow process, and the more they mature in a slow process, it makes them more solid with a strong foundation, and you have they're more unique. It's like a tree that grows slowly, like an oak tree. It's more solid, and when you cut it, you see the rings. They're beautiful. But if it grows fast, it can almost be like a monstrosity because it's going everywhere. But you know the strong things, they go slowly, and enjoy the process, and know that quality things take time.
Wise words indeed. Just out of curiosity, who's your favorite turtle?
Turtle. Well, that's the easy one, Raphael. You know, and he's got the red headband. I think he's everyone's favorite turtle.
He's the baddest as well, isn't he?
Exactly. He's the strongest one.
That's one bad brother. Anyway, we'll leave that one there. Daniel, what's your final words for our audience today?
Mm-hmm. So if you're a young person, or even if you're an older person and you're thinking about your next steps in life, I'm going to tell you what works for me. So for me, I'm always thinking about what I'm doing as a story, and who I am as a story. And I think, okay, 20 years in the future, 15 years in the future, I'm looking back at my current self and I'm cheering myself on, saying, yeah, do it. Come on, do it. You keep going. Whatever you're doing, do it. And what that does is help me deal with failures a lot, because it makes me feel that, okay, this is that failure which led to the success that I'm going to get next time. So, and also, looking at my life as, a story, it makes me feel that, okay, if I want to get here in this many years, then I'm going to have to do this, and it's just a matter of time between myself here and there. So and surround yourself with people who are similar and have something to aim, and contact your heroes. Contact them. If someone contacted me right now and said, I want to do this, I might not get back to them immediately, but I'll get back to them. And if I didn't, they should keep on messaging me. And that's what I do. I contact people that I want to talk to. If they don't get back to me, I continue messaging them. There's none to lose. There's none to lose. The worst thing that might happen is that they don't answer you, and then you get to where you're supposed to be, and then you look at them and think, yeah, I tried to contact you and you didn't contact me back, but I made it anyway. So do that, and I promise you, it will be worth it.
Incredible. I don't have enough superlatives to sum that up. You guys, and you're an absolute inspiration. It's incredible to see your journey, to see what you guys have achieved. And this is only the beginning, and we celebrate you for it. We know that there's more great things to come in the very, very near future. We look forward to hearing more. Before I let you go, what's your social media handles for anyone who doesn't know, so that they can connect with you? Raphael, can I start with you?
Yeah, you can get me on Instagram, Dr Raphael with 3 L's on the end. That's Instagram. Number 2, Raphael Olaiya on YouTube, where I talk about fitness, science, technology, and our different projects with media. And lastly, www.raphaelolaiya.co.uk.
Incredible, thank you. And Daniel, how can our audience connect with you?
Excellent. So number one, first way is to watch CBBC this Monday. It's going to be our first show on an amazing series called Operation Ouch. So catch us there. We're really excited about that. Super excited about it. Make sure you watch that Operation Ouch this Monday. But otherwise, online, you can catch me at Instagram, the.fly.doctor, where all my adventures are documented. YouTube, again, the Fly Doctor, and my name, Daniel Olaiya. And of course, TikTok as well, with some more funny things going on there. So Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter as well. Just type my name in and you'll find it. But watch Monday, Operation Ouch. You're going to love it. It's going to be a great show.
Absolutely brilliant. It's been an absolute pleasure, gentlemen. So thank you very much. And it said Monday, that's today. So make sure you watch it today. So thank you again.
It's Tuesday, no?
No, it goes out on Monday.
Thank you.
Today.
Watch it today. Thank you very much indeed, gentlemen. It's been an absolute pleasure having you both here, and wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, bye.
If you want some amazing inspiration, check out the videos next to me, and I'll see you right there.